I wish I could tell you the moment I left my family didn't haunt me. The truth is, the echoes of their laughter still curl around my mind, sharp and cruel, like the cold that enveloped me in those ice caves I now call home. They said I was insane. They said I'd disgrace them for pursuing my ridiculous obsession. Cryogenic haunting research, they called it, as if investigating the whispers of ancient ice was some deranged hobby, not the survival of humanity's conscience. But the world has a way of bringing the truth to the surface, even if it lurks beneath layers of frost and disbelief. I was once a promising glaciologist, making notable discoveries about frozen landscapes, until I reported a diver missing under the depths of Lake Vøttner, claiming he'd been taken by the lake itself. My colleagues mocked me, professors smirking behind closed doors, family members disowning me for spreading what they called delusions. They didn't know, couldn't know, that beneath the surface of that placid lake lay something sentient, an ancient consciousness that had endured eons waiting for the unwary. Years passed in exile, years where the solitude of the caves became my world. With scrupulous passion, I documented phenomenon that turned my nights into fever dreams, shifts in the ice that spoke to the ancient fears of mankind, shapes that moved just out of sight. It was in those dark, cold spaces that I began to understand the truth. The ice was not dead. It breathed, it listened, and it remembered. Now, as I stood outside my childhood home, a crack in the facade of what they once believed, I felt the weight of my past pressing against me like the icy layers I'd escaped. My heart raced, not with nostalgia, but with the urgency of what I carried within me. They needed to see, needed to understand what their words and ridicule had cost. I pushed through the door, the familiar scent of the living room clashing with the daunting memories. My brother, Robert, sat slouched on the couch, his mouth a tight line of discomfort. My mother's eyes, once warm, morphed into stone as they fixed on me. And my father? Well, he stood near the window, arms crossed, a man who felt betrayed by my very existence. "Look who decided to grace us with her presence," Robert sneered, the old bravado laced with a hint of nervousness. I saw it, his fear masked by disdain. "I've come to share something important," I said, my voice steady even as my insides churned. "I'm not here to seek your approval. Approval? You think we care about your twisted obsession?" My father's voice cut through the air, sharp like the blade of ice I had once wielded in research. I could already feel their disbelief, heavy and palpable. "Then let me show you," I breathed, emotions surging as memories of thick, suffocating ice enveloped me. "Let me share the truth I've uncovered." They stared, dismissive, but I pressed on, pulling from my pack a crystal vial containing the dark water I had retrieved from under Lake Vøttner, the very place that had birthed my obsession. It shimmered, a bleak reminder of the history buried beneath layers of ice, and I could see them faltering, curiosity battling with skepticism. "What is that?" Mother asked, leaning in, her voice distorted with hunger for understanding. "Something I've spoken of for years," I replied. "An essence awakened by the shifting glaciers. It whispers, it remembers. It's the voice of those who were claimed by the ice-lost souls, warnings from the past." They scoffed and mocked me still, but I pressed forward, pouring the liquid into a shallow dish. A deep chill resonated throughout the room, and with it came the silence of a frozen world. The air grew thick, the temperature plummeting. I could sense it, the maddening awareness of what lay beneath, eyes watching from the depths. "What is happening?" Robert's bravado faltered and dissipated. I felt a twisted satisfaction bloom inside me as the shadows flickered, pooling around our feet. "Something wants to be seen," I whispered, willing them to understand. "Something that you mocked." And then the whispers began, soft at first, then rising to a cacophony of anguished cries. I watched as dread painted their faces. My father's arms fell to his sides, his disbelief shattering like glass as the shadows bubbled and twisted around us. "Stop this! You're scaring your family!" he shouted. But it was too late. The ice wasn't merely a substance, it was a consciousness, and it hungered for recognition, for revenge against the dismissive laughter that had denied it. Figures swirled through the shadows, twisted shapes emerging, faces contorted in terror, trapped between realms of existence. They clutched the icy walls of their prison, pleading with hollow eyes that bore the weight of despair. I felt their anguish, their relentless yearning for acknowledgement. The realization dawned on them, each gasp of terror echoing around the room. They understood too late the cost of disbelief, that my pursuit had not been madness, but a desperate quest to unveil what should have remained hidden. I stepped back, exhausted, as my family faced the weight of their ridicule. Their laughter had been a death sentence to those lost souls, and now those souls demanded recognition. The shadows danced, revealing faces that mirrored the fear in my family's eyes. "Look at what you've done," I said, voice cracking under my own sorrow. "You dismissed me. You mocked me. But this is real." For the first time, they fell silent, all previous animosity replaced by an elemental fear, as if the very fabric of their disbelief had unraveled before them. As the shadows thinned, the essence began to recede, taking its tormented cores with it. I was left alone with my family. The room was eerily quiet, the air now heavy with understanding. "Tell me I'm insane now," I said, my voice steady but tinged with tremors. They didn't speak. They couldn't. I turned away, knowing I had borne witness to my own vindication, as they faced the chilling truth of what they had scorned. My family stood in profound silence, entwined in the haunting legacy of their neglect. I stepped out of the door, the weight of their disbelief still clinging to me, but for the first time, I felt free.